Why are you more addicted to your phone than cocaine users are to their drug? That's not hyperbole. Studies show that the average person checks their phone 96 times per day. That's once every 10 minutes while awake. Cocaine addicts typically use 2 to 3 times per day. Your phone is literally more addictive than hard drugs, and nobody's talking about it. I discovered this the hard way when I realized I'd spent 11 hours on my phone in a single day. 11 hours! That's longer than most people sleep. And the scariest part, I had no idea where the time went. Here's what they don't want you to know. The attention economy is worth over $700 billion annually. Facebook, Google, TikTok, they're not social media companies. They're attention harvesting machines, and you're the product being sold. Every scroll, every swipe, every just 5 more minutes. It's all engineered. The infinite scroll wasn't an accident. The red notification dots weren't chosen randomly. Even the pull to refresh motion mimics a slot machine lever. But here's the part that'll make you sick. They hire the same neuroscientists who work with gambling addicts. The same techniques used to keep people at casino slot machines are baked into every app on your phone. Tristan Harris, a former Google design ethicist, admitted, "The problem isn't that people lack willpower, it's that there are 1,000 people on the other side of the screen whose job it is to break whatever responsibility you have. The enemy you never saw coming. I thought I was smart. I thought I could outsmart the algorithm. For 3 years I tried everything. App blockers, digital detoxes. I'd delete Instagram, uninstall TikTok, block YouTube up my browser. I'd last weeks, sometimes months, feeling superior to everyone else, still trapped in the matrix. Then I'd relapse harder than before. One quick check would turn into a 6-hour binge that left me feeling hollow and disgusted with myself. That's when I realized the brutal truth. The apps aren't the addiction. They're the dealer. The real addiction is to being entertained, to having your brain constantly stimulated, to never being alone with your thoughts. We've created a generation that can't handle boredom for 30 seconds without reaching for their phones. But here's what's really happening in your brain during those harmless scrolling sessions. The brain hijack nobody talks about. Every time you get a like, a comment, or even to see something mildly interesting, your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical released during sex, eating, and using cocaine. But here's the sinister part. Unlike natural dopamine sources, social media provides what researchers call variable ratio reinforcement. You never know when the next hit is coming. This is the exact same mechanism that makes gambling so addictive. Your brain literally develops tolerance. The same content that used to entertain you for hours now bores you in minutes, so you scroll faster, consume more, need stronger stimulation. Sound familiar? Dr. Anna Lemke from Stanford Medical School calls it digital heroin, and the withdrawal symptoms are real. Anxiety, depression, inability to focus, phantom vibrations, the study that changes everything. Here's where it gets interesting. Researchers at Stanford tracked 2 groups of people trying to reduce screen time. Group A used traditional methods, app limits, willpower, digital detoxes. Group B replaced consumption time with creation time, writing, coding, music, art. After 6 months, Group A, average screen time reduction of 12%. Group B, average screen time reduction of 73%. But here's the kicker. Group B wasn't even trying to reduce screen time. They were just creating more. Why does this work when everything else fails? Your brain craves novelty, challenge, and dopamine. Social media provides all 3 in artificial, bite-sized chunks, but creation provides them in sustainable, meaningful doses. When you're scrolling, you're passively receiving dopamine. When you're creating, you're actively earning it. The difference, earned dopamine is more satisfying and less addictive. Think about it. Have you ever binged Netflix for 8 hours and felt accomplished? Now think about the last time you spent 3 hours working on something you cared about, which felt better. But there's something even deeper happening. When you create, you shift from being a consumer to being a contributor, from audience to artist, from follower to leader. The identity prison most people choose. Here's the part that will make you uncomfortable. Most people won't do this. Why? Because consuming is easier than creating. Being entertained is easier than being engaged. Following is easier than leading. Most people would rather spend 4 hours watching YouTube videos about guitar than 30 minutes actually practicing guitar. They'd rather watch cooking shows than cook, read about fitness than exercise, consume content about productivity than actually be productive. They'd rather live vicariously through other people's creativity than develop their own. I know this because I was one of them. The moment I realized I knew more about my favorite YouTuber's daily routine than my own goals was the moment everything changed. The 90-day identity shift. Here's my analytical conclusion based on studying behavioral psychology and testing this on myself and dozens of others. Your addiction isn't to your phone, it's to being mentally idle. The only sustainable cure is mental engagement through creation. Try this. For the next 90 days, every time you feel the urge to consume mindless content, create something instead. Doesn't matter what, write a paragraph, sketch something, code a simple program, record a voice memo of an idea, film a 30-second video, track your consumption and creation time daily. I guarantee that within 30 days, you'll naturally consume less without trying. Within 60 days, you'll prefer creating to consuming. Within 90 days, you'll wonder how you ever lived any other way. But here's the catch, and this is crucial. You have to treat this like an identity change, not a habit change. You're not someone trying to use their phone less. You're someone who creates more than they consume. Because here's the final controversial truth. In a world full of consumers, creators have all the power. They have the money, the influence, the fulfillment, and the freedom that consumers desperately seek through endless scrolling. The question isn't whether this will work. The data proves it works. The question is whether you'll actually do it, or if you'll just bookmark this video and go back to scrolling. What's it going to be? With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.